Hello everyone, CD Racing here, and welcome to episode 3 of our Dirt Rally 2 Rallycross Career Mode series. And we are now at the last race of our championship, our first championship that is. So far, utter dominance for the first 2 races. So far looking like we are set for a clean sweep coming into the third and final race weekend. But we're happy with the journey that we've made, and we're ready to get into the last race. I hope y'all are ready for it. It's definitely going to be quite the performance, I'll say that right now. But before we get into that, let's quickly go into the, I guess you could call this the dealership of this game, and discuss what we're going to be purchasing for the next season of our Rallycross career. As you know, this is the last race weekend, so it's time to make a decision. Let's go ahead and look at our 2 options moving forward. So right here, the 1600s we're in, and this is the Speed Car Extreme. 150 horsepower and a cart that weighs less than 700 pounds. This thing is basically a Gixxer 750 on 4 wheels. We're going to throw it around in the dirt. It's a rear wheel drive, so it's going to be hard to control. And our other option is going to be this RX2 class, or also known as the Supercar Lights. 310 horsepower, 2,400 pounds out of a 2.4 liter 4-banger. But this one is all-wheel drive, kind of a stepping stone into the 600 horsepower supercars that are to come. So y'all let me know which one of those tickles your pickle a little bit more in the comments, and we will go ahead and choose that for the next series coming up. But first things first, we got to wrap up the current one. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, loading into the Estering in Germany. Very famous rallycross track here, 0.59 miles per lap, with a joker that's a bit interesting compared to other tracks, because the joker here will greatly improve your lap time if you hit it right. I think I was able to get about 1.5 seconds on certain occasions compared to other laps, and it's very useful in races where you might be falling behind. But we're going to go ahead and load in here, see how well we do. But before we get on track, let's look over the layout one last time. In case y'all that don't know, 4 qualifiers determine where you finish, and then you will make it into the subsequent semifinal and final, where those races are dependent on position. You got to finish in the top half. But before we got into our first race, let's actually go ahead and practice on this track, because I have never raced here before. Never in my dirt career have I raced here before, and I'm going to see if I can get used to the track, because, you know, I want to continue the hot streak of dominance. We don't want to get on the track and look like a fool. So let's go green, launch the car, stretch the hands a little bit. That actually did that in real life too. I felt kind of cool in that moment. But coming into turn 1 here, I'm just feeling it out, not going to carry a bunch of speed. Actually love tap the wall as I was sliding in the dirt. And this track, you'll notice a lot as I once again understeer in the dirt. Need to get used to the corners here. The surface changes on this track are constant. Now that I've called it out, watch here as I again go wide. I need to get used to where my car is. Watch the surface of this track as we go through our laps. You're going to see it change from pavement to gravel, back to pavement, back to gravel very, very quickly. And getting used to where you have grip and where you have pretty much none takes some getting used to. We're going to take the joker and once again into gravel. Sharp left-hander. Got to get the car slowed down quite a bit, then snap it back for a right turn, and then shoot across the finish line. Spotter says that was a fast joker lap. It definitely wasn't. He's just trying to be nice. Once again, watch the surface changes as we come out of the first hairpin. Hard charging down this back straight from dirt back to pavement all the way towards the top of 6. Find a braking line. See when we can hit the brakes to get the car slowed in. As you see, we hit the brakes way too early there. Come around this very long sweeping right turn with way too little speed. Once again, back from pavement to the dirt. And I've learned that when you're in these front wheel drive cars in dirt sections like this, especially for high speed corners, just send it in and let the front wheel drive car correcting itself in your favor be the best way to get consistent lap time. Send it in, let the car correct itself, try not to understeer into a wall, and you'll be fine. Coming into turn 1, trying to keep our speed up now, down in a second, hard. Turn in while we can on the pavement, and then make sure you're in a straight line so that when you're in the gravel, you only have to just pedal to the metal, shoot it down this back straight. Look for your braking line. I started looking for those white, I guess those are, I don't know, they honestly kind of look like porta potties at high speed, but at the end of those become my braking line. Get the car slowed in, try to maintain speed through that long right-hander, throw the car in here. You see, I try to correct my oversteer too much, end up losing momentum, get the car straightened out. It's still our first couple flying laps. We're going to try the joker one more time, get it slowed down, try to flick it to the left so we have the momentum, but as you see, not a very good turn in there, still faster than last time. That's a 39.2 so far. I don't even think that's our fastest lap yet. One more time around here, through this hairpin, hard on the gas once we've straightened the car out, into 5th, into 6th, get the car pinned, look for your braking point at the porta potties on the right. Once you reach the end, hard on the brakes, down to the 3rd, into 2nd, and once again maintain your speed through here. And every lap I was noticing I can carry way more speed through that long right-hander, and then here, throw the car in, kind of fight the correction, end up tapping the wall, and it's getting that throw-in save combo right. Grab a little bit of handbrake because I was scared of the understeer, and make sure the car's turned in. Fight the car on the exit. Use all the track so you can put pedal to the metal, and that's a 38.4 without the joker. Already an improvement. Once again, through turn 1, hard on the right-hander. Straighten the car out, floor it down this back section again, using all the track for momentum, and it looks like we are now finally starting to get the rhythm of this track. Look for your braking point hard on the brakes, into third, into second, and then get on the gas a little early, and I'm noticing, man, I can brake even later than I thought, because you heard me kind of blip the throttle approaching that apex, because I knew I could have carried more speed. But right there, got the car flicked in, kept our momentum, didn't have to fight it too much, and then slow it down coming out of this corner into fourth, back into third, and a little bit of understeer on that final corner, but we're going to power out of it, and that is practice. Look at that. Fastest lap overall came out to a 37.588, and let's hope that that is enough to give the AI a run for their money. All right, so first things first, before we go into the actual first race, we did acquire a little bit of damage there, and just for grins, you saw replacing the radiator there would have taken 52 minutes. Thank God we're not going to be doing that. And now, let's go ahead and load into the first race, go ahead and get a look at the grid. Now let's hope that our practice was enough to keep up and or beat these AI. I'd like to remain confident.
Let's see what you can do.
Of course, the spotter's giving us our little good luck message. Let's see if it translates. Keanu's going to adjust the chin strap, and we're going to lock in. Look to our left, look to our right. We know where everyone is, and let's go ahead and get ready. Lights come on.
Ready to race.
Let's get ready for them to drop. Hold our revs. Let's see if our launches have improved over the course of the series.
Go, go, go.
Lights go out. Launch the car hard. Looks like we get a little bit better launch than everybody else on the grid. We're going to hold the left side because we saw we overtook the person on our left, so we know we have clear track on our left. Hold our line through this turn. Hope we don't get too much contact, and it looks like we've left the grid behind. And coming into the first back straight, we are already clear of the grid. Now it's just keeping our momentum up, try to keep the grid behind us, and let's see if we can just leave these guys in the dust. Hard on the brakes coming into this second turn right here. Very long, sweeping right hand. And just like that, early on the gas, like we learned in practice, get ready to put in the fifth, throw it around that corner, don't fight the oversteer too much, and just like that, a little too confident on the throttle. It actually bulges out at one point there, and that's exactly what we hit. Get a little contact, but we keep the car on the road and come ahead and end our first flying lap of the race. And if you notice, the AI is already nowhere to be seen. We have a 3.6 second lead at the end of the first lap, and that is going to be the trend for this entire race, and actually this entire weekend. Yet again, this is going to be another weekend of pure dominance, but I said, you know what, if the AI isn't going to give me a run for my money, I know people in real life will. So coming in the end of this race, I'm going to go ahead and check the leaderboards, and that's what we're going to be aiming for this weekend. Spoiler alert, we do go all the way, but I got a little shiver in my spine as I was in this race, and I was like, man, you know what, I feel like if I'm already beating the AI this bad, I've got to be up there in the leaderboards, right? And as you see, coming into lap 3, a 37.2, we've already improved on our fastest lap that we've gotten in practice, and we're only going to get faster. As look at this, much more confidence on the brakes, coming into third, into second. Don't have to blip the throttle, just find your point, floor it out of the corner, keep your momentum up into this back dirt section, put it into fifth, throw the car in, catch it, don't fight the understeer too badly, narrowly avoid the wall there, and we decide now it's time to take our joker, come in with some momentum, swing it wide, get it into second, make sure that you've already started turning left when you eclipse that apex, and then send it out of the joker. That's our fastest one by far, 37.6. And look at this, coming into the air one last time, keep it in second, into third before you start accelerating onto this dirt section in the back straight, and we just get so much speed coming through here. AI is nowhere to be seen, but we don't care about them. We're trying to improve our lap times. Down into third, into second, one more time, keep your speed around the long sweeping corner, power out of it as soon as you know you've made it. That's going to be the momentum that we need through this entire weekend. Set it around that corner. Did we get it slowed down enough? Barely avoid the wall on the left-hand side, definitely shaving it by inches. And one more time, hold your line through this little elongated chicane is what I'll refer to it as, over the line for a 236.5. Pretty solid race. As you saw, the AI is nowhere to be seen. Keanu knows that we're just in the upper echelon of racers, as it would be. And look at that, 236 compared to a 247 in the first race. It's just us out here. It really is. But it looks like I did lie to y'all. Sorry, I'll try not to do that often, but my memory was wrong. Didn't check the leaderboards after that first race, but I know I'm going to check them after the second one. Did get a little bit of damage there in the first run, probably just some bodywork damage, and yes, it is. But look at that, our brakes are getting worn down, and it's going to take quite a bit of time to fix those. So for now, we're going to run with some crappy brakes. That might be why the car feels so unsteady under braking. You'll notice at the end of that back straight, the wheel's very wobbly on the brakes. Might be because they're a bit worn down, uneven, whatever the case is. We're going to have to thug it out for one more race. But let's get ready for Qualifier 2, see how fast we can go, and let's see if we can improve our current fastest lap. One more time, get ready to lock in here. We know our grid position. We're all the way to the right this time. And let's go ahead and lock in. Get ready to hold our revs. Get ready to launch the car. Y'all know the memo at this point. Teammate to our left. We don't care. He won't be here for long. Hold the revs. Lights go green. Dump the clutch. And make sure that you ease on the throttle just a little bit. And our teammate got a better launch, but then just eased up on the throttle going into turn 1. Dive down the inside. Brake earlier because you know your line is compromised. And just like that, we are clear of the pack. And it is freestyle swimming for the rest of this race. Lock in. Try to improve our lap times. Y'all know the memo. This one isn't going to count, obviously going to be much slower than the rest ones, but look at that unsteadiness under braking that I've been talking about. You see the car kind of drifting to the left under braking. I promise I'm not that trash. The car just feels a little unhappy under braking. We've made it work so far. Once again, throw the car in through this high-speed dirt section. Make sure you get it slowed down for this little elongated corkscrew chicane section, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm talking about. One more time, over the line for our first flying lap for a 44.0. One more time, get it turned down into the first turn, into second, into third, into fourth. Kept a lot more momentum through turn 1 that time. This lap might already be up for a banger as we get all of the speed down the back street, up to 107 for a little bit there right before we got on the brakes, and no wonder the brakes are so unhappy with us. Doing that multiple times in a day is going to be very hard on the brake rotors indeed. And look at this, slide it in there. Throwing the car around, try to keep our momentum up, hard on the brake, coming back onto the grapple, and make sure your wheel isn't turned in too much when you hit the grapple so you don't lose a lot of momentum or really hurt your tires. And once again, keep it steady through that section, over the line for a 37.064. I believe that is our fastest lap of the weekend already, but we are trying to improve even more. One more time, maximize your speed through there so you get a good exit into this back straight all the way up. Look for your braking zone on the right, hard on the brakes. Car's unsteady, we don't care, just keep it on track, keep our momentum. Hard on the gas once you know you've made it into third gear, all the way up into fifth. Keep towards the left so you have the room to throw it to the right. Make sure you catch the car. Lost a little bit of momentum there, could have taken it a little better, and because I saw that and I was already going wide, I opt to take the joker. Make sure you get the car turned into the left, swing it to the right, over the finish line, and that was definitely our best joker by far, as we get a 36.8 for that lap. That is our fastest lap, but for those of y'all that don't know, the leaderboards in Rallycross don't care about your joker lap time, so our fastest lap is still going to be that 37.0 that we accrued earlier. One more time down the back straight, hard on the brakes, into this turn, into second. Keep our speed up until we know we've made it, and then power out of it, get close to that wall, hold the left-hand side so you can flick it to the right. Try not to fight the understeer. Keep all of your momentum hard on the brakes to make sure you're slowed down enough for this very sharp right-hander. Back on the tarmac, hard on the brakes into second, and power out of it just like that. Magic. And that is a 2:34.8, already almost a 2-second improvement on our first race. We're getting faster every time around. And now I want to check the leaderboards to see just how much better, or I guess not better, but where we stand in terms of the real world racers out there. Now, keep in mind, this first number, I'm not bragging about it. This was my second actual race on this track. So I have high hopes given my position, but my lord, 23,762nd place. My lord. Quite the climb we have to make, but if you saw the little slider on the right-hand side of the screen, we're already top 50%. I'm going to talk glass half full. We're about world half full at the moment, but no damage acquired over that last race, so we have time to fix the brakes, and now we're done playing around. Coming into our third ever race here, 23,000 places away from first. Unacceptable. We're better than that. It may be our first weekend here, but we don't like to swing that way. Let's get ready to lock in for this third race here. Wait for the lights to go down and let's see what we can do. Lights go green, dump the clutch, hard on the launch. Made sure to catch first there so we minimize wheel spin, and look at that, just go right around that guy. Not sure what his plan was, but we made quick work around it. And just like that, got the pack away from us going into turn 1. I can't wait for the difficulty of these drivers to turn up, because I can't be fighting the leaderboards every weekend, guys. Y'all got to show me some competition eventually. But like I said, let's get ready to lock into this one. This first lap is basically a warm-up lap, and unsteadiness on the brakes coming into that final turn there, even after repairing the brakes. Maybe the car is just a little funky, maybe I'm a little too hard on the brakes, but it doesn't matter to me, because we're looking for improvement in this. The car goes in a straight line when it's held to go in a straight line. We can make it work. All right, coming into our first flying lap here, let's see what we can do. Cross the finish line, 42.7 for our first lap into turn 1, hard in the brakes into second. A little bit of understeer, too much power through that first hairpin, but we're going to power out of it down the back straight, try to keep our momentum up all the way into 6 before we hit the tarmac again. Look for your braking zone on the left side, hard on the brakes, a little bit past those porta potties, and I touch the grass on the left-hand side there. That rear left wheel touched the grass, and you saw the car turn around, had to save it. This is obviously going to be a pretty bad lap. Just get it around, touching the wall on the left-hand side. All right, well, go ahead and lock in for this next flying lap. Got to be aware of where our car is at all times, or you will murder your lap times just like that. Prioritize the exit. We want this one to count. 37.5, abysmal. We don't care about that anymore. Those are practice times, not real-world times. Now, coming into the back straight, once again, hard charging all the way into 6th gear before we hit the tarmac. Look for your braking zone on the left-hand side. Be a little bit more cautious about where your car is. Give yourself some space on the left-hand side there. Hard on the brakes into 2nd. You heard the revs drop because I actually locked up towards the end there, but I kept the car in a straight line. Hold your left-hand side, flick the car in. Flicked it in a little too early and kind of had to fight with understeer just a little bit coming out of there. So I decided to opt for the Joker, make sure the cars turn in a little bit, kept up some momentum going into there and hit that outside wall. But a Joker is a Joker. It's not going to count anyways for a 36.8. We got one more opportunity to improve our fastest lap. Do we make it count? Kept momentum up through that first hairpin. Now we are flying down the back straight. Let's see the speed we can get up to before we hit our brakes. And it looks like we hit 108 for just a second there. Hard on the brakes. Keep the car in a somewhat straight line. Power out of the sweeping corner. Into 3rd gear. Hug the left side of the wall. Left side of the track. Swing it into there. Fight the understeer. Make sure you don't hit the wall. Keep the car in a line. Brake in a straight line into 3rd, make sure the car turns in, blip the gas into 4th, down into 3rd, hit your racing line, power out of it, over the line, and did we improve our lap? We have a 2:33.4 for the race, so improvement overall once again, but I want to know, what was that final lap? It felt rapid. Remember, in practice, we were putting up 37.5s, so anything better than that is going to be quite the improvement, and we went from 23rd thousand to 9,000th. Several thousand position gains that time with a 36.3 in that race. Quite the improvement so far. Let's see if we can get into the 35s. I believe we could take 3/10 off that lap. Obviously, it's possible if you look at the top here. Lin Kuei Smoke, fire name, and a fellow American, but he used the Volkswagen Polo and set an unreal time. I think he's about 3 seconds faster than us. Now, obviously, the people at the top of these leaderboards get on these tracks and just hot lap for hours and hours and hours. So if we get anywhere close to first, I will lose my mind. But we're just looking to climb. Already making up several thousand positions after that qualifying run. Going into Qualifier 4, do we have another position to gain? Let's find out. One last time for the qualifying part of this weekend. Let's go ahead and lock in and wait for the lights to go down. Hold our revs. Keep the car happy. Can we contain or continue our series of great launches off the line? Green means go. We send it. Managed our revs pretty decently there, and it looks like we've beaten everyone off the line once again. Going into turn 1 early on the brakes because I'm holding the inside line. I don't want to be compromised. Avoid understeer. Power out through this back straight, and just like that, like clockwork at this point, the pack is gone. It is now just us, and let's see if we can improve once again on our warm-up lap. Look for that last-minute braking section so that we can keep our momentum and then power out, and that looked pretty good, especially for our first flying lap. Put it in the 5th, throw it in there. Try not to fight the understeer too much. You see we did fight it quite a bit there. And now get it slowed down, getting ready for our first flying lap here. And you see I want to maximize it. I am now really trying to fight for leaderboard positions here as I maximize speed coming across the line so that the start of this lap is optimized. Coming into turn 1, fight understeer a little bit. You heard the tires screeching. But now, coming down the back straight, hard, charging up into 6th gear, full throttle. Let's see how fast we get before we brake. Once again, I think I saw 109 there. Coming down the brakes, hard, pause. Going around this long sweeping turn, one more time. Hold the left-hand side. Go into 5th eventually. Try not to fight the understeer too much. Minimal steering angle is the name of the game if you can. But I guess I didn't feel like that was a good one because we're going to go ahead and take that Joker into 1st, into 2nd, maximize our exit. Now, although this won't count for our laps, a 35.9 is very quick, and you saw how quickly I took that Joker. Like I said, when you get that Joker right, your times on this track just soar. So 35.9 is pretty quick. And now into 6th gear, get our speed up. 107 when we brake. I think we touched the dirt a little bit there. You saw me had to fight the car. And once again, coming through this back section, into the dirt again, into 5th, throw the car in. Had to use quite a bit of steering angle. I did not send it hard enough. the car didn't have enough angle, and I just lost momentum. So we got one more flying lap in this race to see if we're going to improve. So far, not looking like it, as we get a 37.6 there coming into turn 1. I actually grab a little bit of handbrake because I understeered. Not the greatest exit coming down the back straight, but we are going to continue with the momentum, try to improve into 6 one more time. I think we're even going to be going much slower in the braking zone here. We are into 3rd, into 2nd. Find your line when you know you've made it, gas it out. You see me, I've started gassing it a little bit earlier than what I mentally thought was the apex because I know I'm going to make it. Kept great momentum through the high-speed dirt section right there. And although that first corner was rough, this might be the lap for improvement. Let's see. Not going to be able to see until we improve on the leaderboards, but we are going to cross the line for a 2:33.3. Our lap times keep getting better and better here. Look at that. John Wick himself is loving it. Well, let's go ahead and check the leaderboards coming out of that last qualifying run and see if we have climbed the ladder any further. Obviously, we qualified first because we finished first in every race. And if we check the leaderboard, 9,146. So, really nothing of note here, guys. But, oh, you know what? That is our same finishing position. No improvement. Ugh, disgusting. Definitely don't want to keep that trend. We can do better than 9,000. I know we can. This is not Goku here. We do not want to be over 9,000. We want to be significantly under it. We're looking for Krillin times. And let's go ahead and load into the semifinal, which, added bonus, we now get 6 laps to try and improve our lap. Can we do it? Well, let's find out. For the second to last time this weekend, strapping in, getting ready for the launch. Look for the lights to come up. Hold your revs. You know what we do at this point. Clear track in front of us as we are obviously starting in the best position. And let's get ready.
Go, go, go.
Lights go down. Launch the car hard. We know nobody's going to catch up to us coming into turn 1. So we've got 6 laps, 5 realistically, to break our current record and improve our time on the leaderboards. If we can get into the 5,000s, I would be okay for this being our first time out on the track. But as you see, coming into turn 2, this long sweeping right-hander. Not really caring about the line too much. I know this is the warm-up. You see me not really pushing the car. I just need to get locked in, center myself. I know what I have to do here. Send the car around that corner. Kept great momentum. That definitely sets a benchmark for a new way that I could try to attack that corner. Because you see, it wasn't the same line I've been using. Now, coming for the first flying lap over the line, and we want to be going as fast as possible. 43 seconds for the first lap. We weren't really pushing. Coming into turn 1, quite a bit of understeer, had to fight the car, and now we're going to launch it down this back straight. And really, with how long this back straight is, if your turn 1 isn't fantastic, the rest of your lap is pretty much screwed. It's going to be very hard to get that time back, but we're going to push because you never know. Coming out of the end of that long right-hander, early on the gas here, hold the left-hand side, put it into 5th, and flick it in, and way too passive on the flick in. Had to let off so I didn't understeer into the wall, and obviously if the lap is butchered, we're going to go ahead and send it into the Joker so that we can just reset ourselves, maybe keep quite a bit of speed coming over the line here, and let's see what we can do. 37.1 out of that lap, obviously nowhere near what we need. Into turn 1, slow the car down, make sure we make it into 3rd once we get on gravel again. Hard charging into 6th before we hit the pavement again. Now we're going to slot in, look for your braking zone, look for where your car needs to be, hard on the brakes into 2nd. Send it around this corner, early on the gas, actually clip the wall. We're trying to apex hunt, maybe too aggressively here. Hold the left hand, flick it to the right, send it in, pedal to the metal once you know you've made it, hard on the brakes into here. And now for the long chicane, it's all about patience and not coming in too quickly to this turn, or you're going to have to rip the handbrake to fight understeer just like that, and that's going to kill your time, obviously. 37.0 is quick, but it's nowhere near what we need to climb the leaderboards at this point. Decent speed maintained through turn 1 there, and if we can keep it together, this might be quite the flyer. As you see, coming into the end here, 109 miles an hour for just a second before we get on our brakes, and I tried to hold 3rd through here because I knew that we needed more speed. Couldn't really tell if that was faster or not. It was a little bit of a placebo, and we kept great momentum over the high-speed dirt section, hard on the brakes in a straight line, get it into 3rd so that you can slow it down correctly. Great through the chicane section, back down into 3rd, power out early through this final turn, and that is a 35.8. That was the flyer that we needed, an absolute send. That is definitely our personal best. Now into the 35s. The improvement is there. I can't wait to see how much further we've climbed at the leaderboard, but we are not done yet. We've got 2 more flying laps to try and improve on that. Hard on the brakes coming into here, maintain much higher speed coming through there early on the gas, so you can send it into here onto the left, flick it to the right, try not to hit the inside wall, and yes, As soon as I got a little too overzealous and happy with that corner and the send in, I did hit the inside wall. So it's all about maintaining your composure over the course of a lap. Obviously, this one's probably going to suck. And yes, a 36.2 definitely doesn't suck, but it's not what we need. We need to improve. Coming into turn 1, kept decent speed early on the gas, power out, and try to get as much speed as possible through this back straight so that our times can continue to improve. Use all of the track, get over to the left-hand side here, hard on the brakes. Try not to touch the dirt so the car will slow down. Get it turned in third here early on the gas, and I understeered. I think keeping it in third there is not the move. Shifting into second helps us slow the car down, and hitting the inside wall also not ideal. So it looks like that 35.8 is going to be our standing time for this race. But let's see how much further we climb up the leaderboards with the 35.8. I'm hoping it's going to be minimum a couple hundred positions, but let's go ahead and find out right now. As always, Keanu loves finishing first. He doesn't know, he doesn't understand the bigger picture here. But do we climb the leaderboards to a point that we can respect with what is definitely our fastest lap so far? Let's check it out at the leaderboards from 9,000 to 4,132. That's respectable. Look at that slider on the right-hand side. We are already in the upper echelon of real-world drivers on this track, and it's only our 5th time racing here. If you were to tell me that I would be the 4,000th fastest person here, my first ever weekend, I would call you insane. But improvement is improvement. Never doubt yourself. And now, last opportunity to improve. Do we choke or do we come away with our fastest lap of the weekend? Let's find out going into the final race of this championship and of our climb up the leaderboard. All right, for the last time, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, would you capture it or will we let it slip? Let's find out. Shout out Eminem. Let's get ready to lock in here for the last time. Hold the revs, get ready to prioritize our launch here. We want maximum pace the entire time. We have 5 flying laps to improve our leaderboard climb. Are we going to get it done? Obviously, send the pack behind us. They do not exist to us at this point. Brake early into turn 1 because we're on a compromised line and power out of it. And just like that, we are free sailing for the rest of this race. Get it down the back straight all the way up into 6. You know the memo at this point. Hard on the brakes once we reached our braking point, down into 3rd. And it looks like we're going to try a couple more times to make 3rd gear work through this sweeping corner. But we'll see if it actually nets us some better times. Into 5th, swing it late, too late, with not enough gusto, understeered into the wall there. Luckily, this lap doesn't count. We're going to go ahead and get that joker out of the way now so that every continuous lap can be wholeheartedly dedicated towards improving ourselves. So this one might not be the quickest as we came out of a compromised line with the joker, but let's see what we can do. Already a 4-second gap on the 2nd place, but y'all expect that. Keeping up a lot of speed down this back straight. We're going to hug the left side of the track the entire way down. Straighten out just a little bit so that we can break in a straight line and have enough room to not go off the track. Early on the gas and we know we've made the apex. Hug the left side of the track. Continue to hug the left side so we can flick it into the right and keep a lot of speed going through there. Hard on the brakes. Try to get it slowed down so that we can make the chicane on a good line. Swing it a little bit wide. Kept too much speed coming out of the dirt there. So this isn't going to be the best lap, I can already tell. But a 36.8 is nothing to scoff at, but it is not what we need for improvement. Are we going to be able to do better? So far, we kept great speed coming into turn 1 there. Flying down the back straight here. Let's see if we can improve our PR on speed on the brakes, and that might have been 109, was definitely 108. One more time, 3rd gear, early on the gas. Now we're really abusing the fact that we kept in a higher gear. We got on the gas much earlier, send it into this corner, keep the car as straight as possible, keep your momentum hard on the brakes so you get the car slowed down, keeping a much better line into the chicane, into 4th, into 3rd. Keep your racing line. One more time, early on the gas, power out of here. That is a 35.6. That is our fastest lap so far this weekend. So we already know we've improved in the leaderboards. Are we going to improve one more time as we down the back straight, hard on the gas into 6th, all the way on the left-hand side of the track here. Straighten out just a little bit so that we break in a straight line and we don't run out of track. Look how close we get to the edge there so that we can swing it wide to the late apex. Maintain our momentum on the left side of the track into 5th, swing it to the right. A little bit lacking of gusto on that send-in. Maybe lost a little bit of time there, but we do get the car slowed down for the extended chicane, keeping a decent line through here. Feels like the lap may be faster. Let's see as we come out. A little bit of loosey-goosey there towards the end, and that's a 35.9. That 3/10 wasn't lost there at the end, but we're right there on pace with our fastest lap. 2 more chances to improve to even better our positions on the leaderboard. Let's see what we can do. Coming down the back straight, once again, on the left side of the track. Straighten it out just a little bit so we don't reach towards the end of the track. Get that late apex in 3rd gear, early on the gas into 4th. Hug the left side of the track. get very close to the wall, send it in, get very close to that wall. This one is looking promising. Can we get the car slowed down into the extended chicane? Had to fight it a little bit of understeer, losing momentum there. Make sure that we get it turned in. We're probably going to be right on track with our fastest lap at this point, and yes, a 35.89. We are right there on our fastest lap. We need 2/10 and more to improve our fastest lap. A little bit of understeer through that first corner has most likely compromised our line here, but we're going to see what happens throughout the course of this flying lap. One last time, hard on the brakes. You see me brake as late as possible, and yes, I felt the pressure of the moment. I said, let's brake as late as possible, and we ended up locking up at the end of the back straight, so it would appear that a 35.6 is going to be our best lap this weekend, but we are proud of the work we've done. See, we're just going to make sure the car gets there in one piece. Absolutely abysmal pace crossing the line here. We just want to make sure we finish, and a little bit of victory squirrels, and look at that. First position, obviously very happy to come away with the overall victory in the race and the championship, not to note, but all we care about is where are we at on that leaderboard. I want to see it. Obviously coming away with maximum points for the weekend, guaranteeing our victory in the championship. A 36 or a 35.6, I believe, fastest lap there. How does that do for us on the leaderboard from 4,000th to, drum roll please, 2,672nd place? I know that number doesn't sound impressive, but for our first weekend here to realistically be, according to the slider, maybe top 5% of lap times ever done on this track for people that most likely sat here for hours hot lapping it, that's a takeaway I'm more than okay with. It honestly makes me feel if I dedicated some time to that, I could get into the top 100 times very easily, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. The growth this weekend was fantastic. The growth over the series was even better, and obviously we now move from the open to the clubman level of racing. The AI is going to get tougher, the championships are going to get longer, and now we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of the series. But at the end of the championship, the only thing I've got to say to you guys is, for the last time in the front-wheel drive rallycross cars, thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed the series so far, make sure to heel-toe that like and subscribe combo. Looking at the upcoming championship, we're back in Sweden, back in South Africa as well, as you see the next race. And we have a new one. We actually have two ones in this next upcoming season. As you see, we have one more destination. We have Abu Dhabi and Latvia, two locations we have not seen yet. Super excited to get into it, but that is obviously going to be in the next episode of this series. Of course, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad y'all are enjoying the series so far, and I will catch y'all in the next one.